Hi, hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm Serena and I'm a senior graduating college, and now I'm here to give back and share my knowledge to you guys. So one of the pinnacles of my college career was definitely joining a consulting organization. As you can see, I made it onto their senior leadership team. I don't know how they let that happen, but I'm here to share my accumulated recruitment tips. This is definitely specific to consulting organizations, but it can be used in any other context as well. So we're going to go over what is a consulting organization, why you would want to join a consulting organization, and how to join a consulting organization, and what consulting organizations are roughly looking for. And so yeah, let's get right on into this video. I'm going to have my little post-it notes right here. My handwriting has not improved. Number one, what is a consulting organization? Consulting club usually mimics the real-world consulting firms in which you'll be placed on student teams working on real-life clients or sometimes fictional clients. At U of I, there's a lot of things geared towards technology consulting, sustainability, or even nonprofit consulting, so you can always choose which track. These teams will come together, problem solve, and really formulate recommendations for other businesses, things in your community. And this kind of leads into why you should join a consulting organization. You will learn abundance of things. A consulting organization is definitely something where you have to dive headfirst and give your all. Not saying you can't be committed to other things, because I was definitely committed to other things as well, but this was definitely like my main focus in college, and I don't think I regretted it at all, because I got to learn things from financial modeling to how nonprofit startups work, to how like the food AI works, and like the metaverse. I've had projects spanning technology, startups, big tech company, and every semester it's been a wild ride. So why does this matter? Number one, if you're looking for any job, you'll need these soft and hard skills such as teamwork, the communication. I definitely learned a lot of organization, but also the hard skills such as Excel or like PowerPoint and financial modeling, whatever your organization claims to have. And another thing is I met some of my best friends through this, so it's definitely a good network to pull upon, and you know that these will be really good connections in the future, and it doesn't look bad on a resume. And I have talked about this in every job interview that I've had, and that's how I've gotten like sophomore year internships, junior year internship, and my full-time job. So that network and all of those experiences are super priceless. I was able to lead 3 teams this semester on senior leadership, so that's like a few semesters in where you apply for promotions at my organization. And when am I going to manage 27 people? Like that's like 10 years later on in my career, if I even want to like go that far. It's a very dynamic place where the learning curve is steep, but it's fun, and you have people around to be stressed with you, or it's not really even stressful. I think when freshmen come up to me and they're like, can I handle this? You just have to believe in yourself and just do it and listen and let yourself be a sponge and soak up every experience that you can. Even if you have a bad team or a good team, there's always something that you can learn, and that's something that I really love about consulting in general. I literally can't read my own handwriting. So now that we've talked about the really attractive points of consulting, we're going to jump into how to join. So most of the time I'm seeing a lot of my friends posting their, join like Trojan Consulting Group or like Wharton something, and it's usually consisted of like meeting people, some kind of a networking area, a resume round, maybe a case interview, and maybe a behavioral interview. So we're gonna dissect those and tell you how to go at it. So number one, if you have not heard like about a case interview, or you haven't heard any of these terms, I think consulting organizations can be very exclusive to business and engineering majors, but problem solvers are all out there in the world. So definitely a few Google searches and it's fine, but the number one thing that I think all consulting organizations look for is the coachability and the teachability. I would rather have someone who is not fluent in business acumen or fluent in any of the technological things I was not, and have that grit and that heart to really want to work it out with you and work it out with the team, to brainstorm, to learn, to like read up on the subject. And so I think that's number one. So keep that in mind while going through this. So my first tip would be to network. If your group hosts like professional workshops, like or like networking sessions, definitely go to those. And things that you can ask are, hey, what projects are you working on? Definitely come up with a list of questions. Seem very like personable, but very interested in the organization. The second tip would be to be very confident. Go in, just don't have too many expectations for yourself and see where you want to be, because these organizations, you want to be in a place that fits you, so that if you want to move up the ladder you can, or just like having the right support group during those stressful situations, rather than being like berating or like kind of intimidating and stressful, you kind of have a soft landing pad if you value that. Next, honestly, network with as many people as you can, but pro tip is to go on LinkedIn, search that organization, see who's in that organization, see who maybe the top dogs are like making the decisions. Obviously you want to get to know experiences from like both ends, but usually people who are at the top have had really good experiences, can tell you more about the experiences that they've had and articulate a little bit more on those things. And four, just show up to those events. People remember faces. They might not remember names, but they remember faces, who has been there and who has been eager to learn. And maybe you'll learn a thing or two for your interview about it that you can drop in, like, oh, this was founded in 19 blah blah blah. Like, that's so cool, right? And I want to join an organization as deeply established as that. That's kind of an embellishment. I don't know if I would ever say that. But yeah, you get the gist of just like incorporating things, making it your own. Next is our resume. I won't go in detail on how to make a really good resume, because when we do it, we just scan the resume, we look for impact. Did you have a big impact on anything that you did? So this is where all of those resume tips, where you can't really have the same like ing verb, like again and again, like created versus like spearheaded, like use very strong evocative messaging. Okay, so for example, I volunteered teaching English in China. 3 of us taught 26 students in China. I would rephrase that into impacted 26 children's lives by making them more fluent in English, blah, 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 blah. So it really quantifies what your impact was. If you can't quantify something, I would say next best bet, use a rough estimate. If not, it's not the end of the world. It just makes, it's like baseline resume, but it makes it better. All right, so case interview, I will drop. So moving on, next our case interview. So I'm just gonna tackle this right in the head. Your student consulting organization might offer like a course on it, or like a session on it, like a 1 hour, like how do you do this? So go to that. If not, also if you want to be extra prepared, definitely go through YouTube videos. I'll link some down below that I found helpful, and also learn the frameworks, or take like a second and organize your thoughts and put them out verbally is very important. Creative with the case. So a case interview is basically, in the most simplest terms, hey, do I open an ice cream shop in Delaware? I don't know any places in Delaware. I don't know why I would pick that place, but what are some things I would consider? So if I were to use the most simple framework, don't use this like in a consulting firm interview, I'd say, but in one of these like organizations, they'll definitely understand like the basic frameworks. So it's like internal, external is the one that I will always recommend to any beginner caser. Internally, what do we need to consider? And externally, what do we need to consider? Internally, I would consider, like, do we have enough revenue? Are we expanding too fast? Like, do we have too many growing pains? Like, can we conduct an employee survey to see, like, what employees would think of this? Like, oh, are there, like, and then externally, hey, what are, like, Delaware laws like on, like, taxes and blah, 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 blah. Would there be enough market demand for ice cream? Like, I'm using big words, but would people buy our ice cream? How many ice cream cones can we sell? Like, how would we get our ice cream from our central distribution places out there? So it doesn't hurt to listen in on a couple cases because you'll kind of get that rhythm and flow. But definitely structure. Take 10 seconds to think and then blurt. Also, if you get the math question wrong, it's not the end of the world because you can't really use an interview calculator sometimes for most of the consulting organizations I've seen. Moving on to our last bracket, which is our behavioral interview. These are going to be questions like, why do you want to join? Blah, 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 blah. What makes you good? Blah, blah, blah. Name 3 adjectives your friends would use to describe you. Number 1, no, like, PG-13 stuff, no political things, or no, like, talks of drugs and alcohol is usually, like, the 3 golden rule that I saw when I was a freshman. Obviously you wouldn't talk about that. You would be surprised how many people do. Like, they're like, oh, like, we heard there's socials, and I'm like, cool. Like, that most of your time is not going to be in a social, but it does make it more fun. Definitely have those answers ready, like, hey, like, I want to learn more, I want to be coached to become, like, a better business person, or, like, learn what consulting is to see if it fits with my career goals. And then there will be situational questions, like, if your teammate talks bad about you, what would you do? And in these, just use kind of your common sense. Again, organize your thoughts, don't make it too lengthy. And one method that I've found really works, not strictly following, but the STAR method, which is situation, task, action, and result. It wouldn't work for, like, 3 adjectives. I would say, like, with things like the numerals, you want to list, like, oh, these are my 2 strengths or 1 weakness, or, like, my 3 adjectives, and explain why you gave those just briefly, like, 1 sentence. But with things like, why do you want to join this organization, or, like, tell me about a time that you've failed and you've succeeded from that failure, or, like, tell me about a time that you failed. And you would say, my first time trying to get into a consulting organization, I was really nervous and I didn't know how to prepare. So this is, like, literally the cheesiest thing ever. The task at hand, I wanted to get into this consulting organization next semester, and so what I did, action, is go out and network with a few of my friends in this consulting organization to learn more about it, and networked with other people to learn more about the case and the behavioral interview and how I could really improve myself as a candidate. And the result is that I'm here more well prepared. So that seems like very cheesy, but that's, like, more of the framework that you want to follow in behavioral interviews. Now, that was literally, like, a briefest crash course on everything, but I'll leave some links down below as to resources that helped me. One of my biggest things is mentorship. I love being in organizations because it gives me a chance to give back after I've learned what I have. And so, yeah, take all my knowledge. I don't need it. I do need a little bit of it. Yeah, with that being said, thank you for watching this video. I hope your recruiting goes super well, and yeah, bye guys.